house you're about to see is designed by Brisbane architect Paul Butterworth. Paul has designed a house that not only looks the part, but also functions exactly how a holiday house should. Well, Paul, full disclosure on this, I've actually been stalking this house on social media quite a bit, so I'm really excited about this tour. And I've got to say, that facade already hasn't let me down.
It's pretty special, and we're pretty happy with it. I mean, it's an amazing spot. It's an amazing place in general.
What I love most about the facade is it's quite unpretentious. It's not saying, look at me. Instead, it's saying, look at the view I've got behind me.
You know, to us, when you're working in a place like this, it's important not to be too shouty, you know, and not to dominate the landscape or stick out too much in the street. We want to be a little bit quiet, a little bit low-key, because that's the vibe of the place. So we're trying to fit in and work with the context of the environment, and so quietening it down a little bit is certainly part of that.
Okay, so what was the design brief?
Essentially, our clients were part of a close-knit, large family group, so it had to accommodate all comers when it needed to. Low maintenance, durable, you know, quiet and humble from the street, and to fit into its natural environment as well, and just be an all-round entertainer and comfortable beach house.
In terms of design, is there much difference between designing for a holiday home or someone's forever home, I guess? I mean, already I can see a series of opening and closing doors to create different spaces.
Yeah, look, they're very different briefs. They have very different performance criteria and, generally speaking, a whole different series of rituals and routines that go around living on the coast or living at the beach that don't occur and aren't needed back in suburban life, for example.
Yeah, so I guess a home such as this one, you would want to create sort of like those bunk houses where everyone can come in. You want to sort of use hardy materials where kids can walk sand through the house, etc. Yeah,
there's this strange duality where it has to be suitable for just a romantic couple's retreat, you know, on the quiet, but also when, you know, the whole clan comes to visit, you know, you can accommodate everyone and everyone just sort of bunks in and gathers around, you know, the kitchen or the fire and has a really good time. So it has to do both.
I'm loving this particular breezeway here at the moment. You know, you've got views from the street all the way through the house to, you know, to the hero.
Yeah, this is a really important space. It's also a set of lungs for the house as well to flush, you know, fresh air through the rest of the house. There are sliding panels at either end and even in the middle to control the flexibility of how it's used. So at one point it can be sort of a second living rumpus for a whole bunch of kids to come in here and watch a kids' movie while all the adults are upstairs. Or it can be closed off and it becomes extra sleeping and we can lay out the stretchers or people can sleep here quite comfortably and be private from the rest of the house. There's a whole bunch of things that are really important to make it useful and earn its keep.
And I think for me, what gives you that really island living is those indoor-outdoor bathrooms.
Yeah, it's a nice little sort of trick, if you like, to just slide a big panel back and, you know, brush your teeth in the landscape or have a shower or bath with the landscape, because part of the charm of being over here is really connecting to an environment that one is not normally exposed to.
Well, Paul, it's quite obvious that part of the design brief was to capture that amazing view, and you've done it with this whole wall being glass, but that's quite complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's definitely a balancing act because we are in a very exposed environment and it's a bit windy. So we've got a lot of structural juggling to do to hold it all up for a start and stop it, you know, raking backwards and forwards. The view is obviously the hero and the star of the show here and the landscape as well. So we need to get access to that, but also try and get a number of different ways to get access to that. So sitting here on a deck, for example, is a very pleasant experience, but there's also another experience that we can get by taking the glass all the way to the floor and really capturing that view.
You talk about how the architecture is very discreet. It doesn't get much more discreet than that master bed, does it?
No, it's a good spot. And again, you know, if you're the one paying for it all, you kind of want to get a bit of bang for your buck. It's a very different experience, again, from being in that master suite and looking at slightly, it's the same view, but it's slightly different. So it's a special experience just for the owners. It's a nice way of looking at the same thing from a slightly different angle and getting a very unique experience.
I mean, even just sitting here now, we've got, you know, that amazing sea breeze coming through. We're in the morning sun. How has that impacted the design?
Yeah, working with the natural environment's really important to us, but also having a very comfortable house as well to be and to live in is really important too. We've got a long, narrow floor plan, so the breezes come up the hill off the ocean. We've got windows both sides of the living areas, and it just flushes fresh air through the house. Keeps it nice and cool, gives a breeze. It makes it very comfortable. We've also got a lot of thermal mass on the ground floor. We've got a polished concrete slab which borrows the thermal stability of the ground that it sits on. Again, there's just a whole lot of things that are packed into this house that were really designed not to be noticed. There's lots of solar panels on the roof. There's 10,000 litre water tank buried under the lawn terrace where the fire pit is. There's just so many things that we really put into this house that really tick a lot of boxes.
All right, Paul, well, thanks for showing us through today. I always enjoy talking to you. You've got such a passion for design and it's infectious, so thanks again.
I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Jason, this design's your masterpiece. Tell us about what you've done here and why you've done it.
Well, the brief was to create two beautiful high-end apartments with a rooftop that's split, overlooking the beautiful ocean, amazing pools that we'll see a little bit later on, and basement car parking for both as well.
So, Nick, what was your brief to Jason?
I guess the biggest thing for us was that it doesn't look like a duplex. It doesn't look like units. It kind of looks like the one house.
It does, because when I arrived here, I actually didn't know what I was turning up to. Initially, I thought it was a house.
Yeah.
So I guess you've sort of created these apartments in more of a discreet way. It looks very residential, and that is a bit unique. So, Jason, talk us through what you've used on the facade.
So on the facade, we've used beautiful timber battens, beautiful rock coat render that's textured, and a really natural finish. We've used grass pavers for the driveway just to give a whole lot more of a green entry, as well as obviously the pools are a real feature, cantilevered off the end of the building with a beautiful glass window. That'd have to be one of the highlights.
She had promising eyes like I see this moment in hindsight. That was a moment in time. I fell in the mode in a blind light, watching us dance from the sidelines. Vibes ride through hive mind, hand on the hip, handle it.
So that rock coat wall that's featured on the exterior, that also carries inside. Is that what we're looking at in here?
Absolutely.
Exactly the same product?
It is the same product. We've used it externally and internally on the ceiling coffers, as well as some of the beautiful feature walls inside.
So the rock coat product has been applied basically top to bottom, so fully from outside, exterior, all the way up to 3 stories. And also inside, as you can see here, through the kitchen, across all the walls, cabinets. So we're seeing more and more high-end builders and applicators, architects use this product now because you have those natural finishes that can be used inside and out. Product is definitely environmentally friendly. So when Bob and Chris Cameron started the company 40 years ago, their main goal was to have a product that is eco-friendly, cleanses the air on the inside when you use the natural materials, something that humans are meant to live around that's not harsh on the environment, production-wise, doesn't cost the earth.
Nick, you've built a lot of homes, so you probably have a very good idea about what you want in a home. Did that make the process helpful, and what did you ask for?
Yeah, so given the location, car parking is a big issue around here, so, we wanted as many cars as we could fit in here. And then we want all the key items, like cellars and pools and gyms and, just, I guess, everything to make it user-friendly and appealing to everyone.
Nick, you and your wife have come up with the interior finishes. Do you typically keep to a similar scheme? You tend to lean to the neutrals, right?
Yeah, we tend to leap to the neutrals. I guess the safer, more subtle kind of feel. You know, this one we went sort of, you know, pretty organic, lots of natural materials, you know, micro-cement floors, render everywhere, natural stone. We try and bring the outside in a lot, so, you know, bring in a lot of greenery.
The curves throughout this home are probably most prominent in this space.
It's probably all off the back of the organic feel of the entire structure. The curves obviously bring that beauty of that, the outdoors in. We've got curves from walls across en-suites, around bed, the planter boxes are curved. Everything has curves through. I think it's just that continuity that we spoke of earlier.
Yeah, it's on my mind. It's on my mind. It's on my mind. Been leaving it overdue whenever I'm close to you. It's almost time. It's almost time. It's almost time.
Well, the ocean's so close you can actually smell it, which feels amazing. There's this beautiful ocean breeze happening this afternoon. Do you hang out a lot up here? You must.
We spend a fair bit of time up here, yeah, afternoons, mornings.
And that pool is pretty spectacular. Is that your design, Jason?
It's probably a collaborative thing between myself and Nick. We're working on more and more projects with pools up on the rooftop these days, starting to take in all those beautiful views rather than having them sunk down back into natural ground or spaces that aren't so high priority.
Well, you two have worked together on so many projects now that you've got it down to a finer art, and that must be really reassuring when you're going into what's a pretty big, expensive project. And again, together, you've done an exceptional job, and thanks for having us through.
It's almost time. It's almost time. It's almost time. Can't be too soon to chance these big.
So what do you do if you've got an amazing coastal location with views of the beach, but it's only 11 metres wide and it's north facing? You create a great mixture of finishes and fittings and great design. You are going to love this house. We've enjoyed showcasing projects from the boys at Bremo Homes for years on Open Homes Australia. And I've got to say, I was elated to come and see this home here in beautiful North Curl. Now, it's deceiving when I arrived because this block of land is only 11 metres wide, yet the house feels much wider. And that's been achieved by clever design. A great use of horizontal lines, which you can see on the garage door. And then they've replicated that fine little line in the garage door with a rendered detail as well. The great use of horizontal line makes it feel much wider, and the beautiful palette of charcoal and off-white tones and natural timber makes it fit so well in its coastal environment. It definitely looks great on the outside, but join me now as we take a walk through. Not only is this a narrow site, but it also slopes from the front to the rear. The way that the designers have dealt with this issue is to make the home 2-storey at the front and 3-storey at the rear, allowing these simple little split level steps in between. Now, because it's north facing, natural light is very important. This courtyard here allows all of that natural light from the east to flood on into the home. They've also included some clever design statements like this beautiful staircase. Not only does it look like a sculptural element in the middle of the home, but having open risers allows more of that natural light to flood on in, and it picks up all of the beautiful tones in the timber oak floors. This home is actually deceivingly large, with 4 great-sized bedrooms, 4 bathrooms and 4 separate living areas spread out over the split levels. What I really love though is the continuity as you walk from outside in. Outside the home, we've got that beautiful white with the charcoal elements adding that almost eyeliner detail and that natural timber door. And inside, it's been repeated with the white walls, the crisp outline of the windows and little details like this handrail and the timber floors. And they've even added some beautiful detail in the bathrooms where the timber has been flipped and it's up on the ceiling. Behind me is a stunning in-ground pool, the perfect destination to draw everyone from the house to the backyard. And you can see that sloping structure at the back, which is designed to create a nice space for rest, but also capture all of that natural light. Landscaping is one of those final elements when you've completed your home, and here they have definitely put a lot of thought into it. We've got beautiful bamboo here that's acting as screening for privacy, and a great mixture of plants and foliage which creates that architectural element. I definitely see that fusion between coastal and tropical vibe. It just makes the house fit so well into the site. When creating a monochromatic colour scheme, texture is an important element to add to create that visual interest. Throughout the wet areas in the home, the design team at Bremo have used a great mixture of shape with penny rounds and Kit Kat tiles. Behind me here in the kitchen is actually a pill-shaped tile. Now, the interesting thing here is that this tile was actually the jump-off point for the design team to create the whole look of the home. As you can see, it's actually a marble tile, so it's got that beautiful white base with a slight grey vein through. And you can see that that's been translated to white walls with grey windows, that beautiful rich charcoal. It's a great way to see how to create a whole colour scheme from something that's quite simple and small. Being a natural element, it's also given the jump-off point for the beautiful warmth in the home, which is the timber. So combining these has created a beautiful mixture of elements as you walk from one level to the next. As you can see from the top terrace, it is definitely an amazing location, and that view is to die for with Curl Curl and North Curl Curl just behind. You can see how good the waves are before you grab the board and head on down.
Welcome to Stradbroke Island, one of Queensland's most desired holiday destinations. Now today I'm here to visit architect Paul Butterworth to view one of his recently completed projects where he's taken inspiration from the classic beach shack to create a modern beach getaway. Well, Paul, thanks for having us over here, mate. I mean, I can tell we're in a relaxed atmosphere straight away because you've got the Okanuis on. You are ready to go.
It's a straight uniform and I came prepared.
Absolutely. We're here to visit a beach shack with a twist. So it's brought into the modern world, but trying to fit in still as a classic Stratty shack.
It is, yeah. Look, it's really buying into the flavour of the fibro shacks of old, but we want to still be comfortable and we want a few, modern amenities as well, and we need it to work. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit nostalgic as well, but I think we've got a good outcome. Beach houses, can either have couples retreat, just keep it quiet, low key, or they can have, 50 people come over and, have a huge family gathering. So they've got to be able to do both equally well. So with the right windows and doors and the right use of, external space in particular, we can create that feel and achieve all that stuff, and it can work in both modes and everywhere in between as well.
This house works really hard to be a passive house. There's no aircon within the whole house. I mean, you've got big windows, big doors. We can open up either side of the house to get that amazing airflow through the sea breeze.
Yeah, that's right. We're not short of a breeze here because the ocean is right there and the prevailing southeasterly is really quite a lot for a lot of the year. So sometimes it's really more about keeping it out.
Whether you have the sea breeze or not, Queensland's sun is hot. And one of the materials you guys have used on these houses is the Bondor roofing panel. So we've got ColourBond foam insulation, so that really does add to that passive house.
It's all-in-one insulation, ceiling lining, structure and roof cladding. It really sort of does it all. And we're here on an island environment. Everything has to come across by barge. Time counts and cost counts, and we're close to a surf beach. We've just got all these things which culminated together to make sure that Bondor was really going to be the right choice for this environment because it's so easy to install, it's lightweight, and it just does all the things. So it was an easy choice.
I love that it does still feel like a beach shack. I mean, upstairs, all the bedrooms are secluded off, but the whole walkway is like an outdoor deck.
It's important to feel that you are actually on holiday when you come to places like this. So the language of the house, you know, should be a little bit different, a little bit more informal. So you can be inside with just your boardies on, a little bit of sand, and just go, you know, and hide up the other end of the house when it's all getting a bit much. You're on holidays and the weather's not great maybe. You can sort of retreat and read a book or be by yourself, but also you can come together and gather as a family group and have a great barbecue and a good time as well. You know, all those things, you know, working together is really, really important.
It's such a great haven for a family to get away from the mainland, get away from the hustle and bustle, to come over here and really relax. I get so nostalgic about it because you can even see a little bit of sand on the floor, you know?
Yeah.
People walking in, not really worrying about wiping their feet. It's that shack feel.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it is a sand island, so you're not going to escape the sand.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've got big plywood sheets here on the floor. We've got fibro walls and, you know, it's all pretty domestically scaled and a little bit rustic around the edges, albeit, you know, refined in places, just to really sort of buy into the memory of people who used to come to places like this to enjoy their holidays, you know, back in the past. So it's important for that to feel informal and a little bit sort of, you know, it's a precious memory.
Now let's talk about the second dwelling.
There's two houses on this block. There's this one up here, which is mostly for the owners, and then there's another house down the bottom, and that's more for holiday rental market. They look similar, but they are slightly different.
We've also got that amazing Bondor product up there, but with the VJ lining, which just adds that other texture to the build.
Yeah, it's a great product. It's really doing its job really well here. Like it's a very hot day, and this is quite cool in this space, which I'm really happy about. It's got a huge span as well, so we can go all the way from this wall to that wall, which is quite a decent gap, and it could do it in one go. And then backspan more to cover the bedrooms as well. So there's no additional structure up there either, so it's doing all these jobs. It's a great price. We're close to a salt beach as well, so we've got some durability issues that it's just taking care of too. So there's a whole bunch of things that it's doing for us. So it was an easy choice for us to make.
Well, mate, as usual, you've brought me to a house that I've actually fallen in love with. I mean, this is the ultimate beach home.
It's been great to show you through, so thanks for coming.
Taken a road trip up here to beautiful Coffs Harbour to check out a modern Miami-inspired masterpiece. They tell me it's a renovation, and yet from where I'm standing, it looks like a brand new crisp white build. Let's go check it out. So Ashley, I've got to say it's pretty impressive turning up out the front. You've got this very clean line white, sort of Miami looking box out the front that's very different to every other house in the street. Tell us how it came together.
Well, the house is a renovation. It was a 1960s split-face block, single-level box, basically. Inspiration was a house the owners saw, which was white and boxy, very reminiscent of this.
Well, it is wide and it is boxy, but it's been done really well. I'm actually surprised that you tell me that it's a renovation, because looking at it, it actually looks really well executed and really well planned rather than being added on or altered. It's a nice layout. When I walk in here, I've got lots of air, this really light feeling. I like this raised ceiling here above the dining area. It definitely adds lots of volume to the space.
It does. That was mainly to get some northern light into the house. You know, facing east predominantly there, so yeah, so the northern light into the space was what we were after,
and some airflow. Well. You know, I know this part of the world. I used to come here as a kid quite often.
Pretty humid.
Coffs Harbour is gorgeous, but humid. I can feel it today. But we've got this beautiful airflow happening through the house. No air conditioning and no lights on either.
The breeze, when the doors are open, it does. It goes straight through the house, and that's the people want to live in this section, and like I say, no aircon or anything like that, so it works most days.
Now, I know we've got suburbia here, you know, it's a really nice established suburb, and the homes compared to this one now are looking more tired. This looks fresh and new.
Yep.
But I wonder how well the owners are connected with the neighbours, because I've seen that bath outside on the front balcony. That would have to be a great way to connect with the neighbours when you're having a bath in the morning.
Yeah, it was one of the owners' weirder sort of requests, I suppose. We haven't done a bath on a balcony, but yeah, we've got it up there for him, and there's a rubber ducky in there. He obviously uses it.
in the rest of the home, already had a walk through. We've got a beautiful range of textures. We've got some nice vertical stacked subway tiles in the pantry, into the bathrooms as well. You've also got a fantastic terrazzo look tile on the floor, and then a little bit of bling with the gold, that brushed brass. So it's a really nice, comfortable palette. I'm wondering, are you seeing this as a pretty sort of typical look for this part of the country?
Yeah, very coastal, very chilled, and still hits the mark when you need to scrub it up and make it look nice.
It does scrub up well, mate, I've got to say. Well, Ashley, I've got to say, it's a really impressive front yard. Not many people can have a swimming pool in the front yard. This looks great, but I've got to say, turning this way, damn, that's a good-looking house.
It is. It's, you know, the different heights and stuff with the balcony and the elevated section in the dining room. Yeah, it just breaks up the facade a bit and gets you those different angles and shapes, and yeah, it just takes a bit of the bulk out of it.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how there's sort of this play on different planes, because it is quite boxy, but sometimes the box can be quite boring and bland. This one is not. It's visually interesting, and that balcony is quite hidden there. It's not really obvious that it is a balcony.
No, that's right. From here, it just looks like a parapet with a roof, but it is, yeah, that's the bath spot, and yeah, from here, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Now you've got this beautiful rendered wall around the front. You've kept that same unifying feature of the white elements, even here with this beautiful pergola, but we've got some nice warmth in here as well with all this timber around the deck and on that beautiful, subtle, standout screen. I love it, the front gate.
The blackback decking around the pool, just a bit of natural sort of element around the pool. Nice white pool, very inviting.
Well, mate, congratulations. I think it's outstanding. I still can't believe that this is a renovation. It looks like a new build. Well done to you and the team and the homeowners. I think it's time to jump in that pool and grab a beer.
Mate, sounds great. Thanks, James.
I've got to say, Neil, I was excited about today. I get to drive down the South Coast and catch up with a mate and see your work. I've been following the journey of the bunker house for some time now. Tell us about what you created here.
Well, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming down. This is Bunker House. So this is basically a full concrete house built half under the ground on the oceanfront here at Wary Beach. This facade is all raw materials. For me as a builder, I want to expose all of our hard work and not cover it up. So basically off-form concrete, stone, timber, all my favourite things as a chippy and a builder. You'll see throughout the whole house that everything's exposed. There's no cover-ups. That was the main goal with this house, that we wanted something that could handle the elements, because we're here on the ocean front, got lots of salt smashing the house. So I wanted this to look as good in 100 years' time as it does right now.
The concrete, there is a lot of it and it's very impressive. Concrete can be really brutalist, that brutalist architecture, and yet it feels comfortable in its site. I think it's got a lot to do with how you've ended up taping the edges of each layer. Like, it's becoming more like a sculptural piece, like origami.
Yeah, so during the design phase, we actually did have it all designed as a box modern facade without displays, and it was very heavy on the eye. It was very big and bulky and unit block-like. As soon as we slimmed everything out and tapered all of those facade beams, it looked incredible.
Well, I love the combination of finishes on the outside. I can't wait to get inside, mate. Let's go have a look.
Let's have a little look.
So we're here on lower ground level. I've got to say, it feels large and bright, even though the only windows are there, but I can see some skylights. How's that all working?
So we're actually well underground here. We're about 9 metres underground at the rear. And these skylights that you see actually play a big part in the name Bunker House.
Okay.
There is a lot of wartime bunkers across these coastlines. When we were designing it, I thought that'd be really cool. Cool way to get light down into here. Airflow, because they open up as well to let this level breathe. But yeah, they send light down here, and this zone has sort of become the kids zone, where the kids, you kind of send them all downstairs and they all hang out down here. It works really well.
It is a massive house and you've got all of this concrete, the stone. I've got to say, did that make it a quicker build or a slower build to construct? How long did it all take?
Look, to be honest, it normally makes it a slower build, but in this case, my budget had a limit, so I didn't have the option to stuff around with getting the concrete to an extremely high level, and we had to reuse all the formwork and things like that for budget reasons. So it actually made it quicker, because once you strip that formwork, the walls are done. There's no paint, there's no plaster, there's no tiling. The job's done. So it actually, sped things up, and it ended up with a 9-month build time.
That's amazing. All of that texture and the detail of seeing the formwork and the little bits of timber framing and the little pins of the holding the frame together, that actually adds a whole nother visual level and a whole nother lot of texture to the house. It makes it exciting.
Yeah, look, for me, I know like what, a class 3 perfect job is, and I know what a reused, recycled job looks like. And I actually am the same as you. I like the textures. I like to see all the imperfections.
And Neil, here we are on the middle level. You can already see just that little bit higher how amazing those views are behind me. I'm guessing this is the master suite. I don't know if I've just walked into the set of the next James Bond movie. Like, this is an outstanding room.
Yeah, this has to be one of my favourites. So it's a transformer room as well. So you've got the big master bed. The cinema pops out. So you've got cinema screen here, pops out of the roof. And we've got the surround sound. The sound in here is epic. And then the bath, so you can sit there, watch the sunset in the bath or sunrise, whatever you're into.
Your forever house. Do you think there is ever such a thing? You've created this place.
As a designer and builder, I love creating the product more than actually living in the product. So I keep saying, this will be the forever house, this will be the forever house. But to be honest, I just love creating things. So I'm happy to, we're about to build another bunkhouse in Byron Bay.
Yep.
But I'm pretty sure that's going to become a holiday escape for other people to use in the end as well. So we're forever sort of creating things and doing things. But the journey with the family kind of being a part of the design, it actually makes it so much more fun and so much more enjoyable, and you get a lot of functionality out of everybody's input.
Yep.
I mean, even the kids had input in this design, so yeah, it was good.
Your company name is Future Flip, so we can't wait to see what you do in the future. I can see that we're going to come up to Byron and maybe see stage 2 of the bunker house, mate. It's been outstanding.
Thanks so much for coming, James. Appreciate it.
Welcome to Ocean House. Dee is lucky enough to be taken for a tour. She meets award-winning architect Rob Mills for some insight into one of his most celebrated and respected projects. Designed and built by architect Rob Mills for himself, family and friends, this is a place to gather by the beach and escape the grind of everyday life. It is simply a return to nature.
Is this the front door? I'm a little bit confused about the entrance.
I have to admit, there is no front door. It's quite a casual house, and it's meant to be. It's a beach house. And so that formality drops away, and you have to find your way here a little bit. So this, for instance, is the second living room, and the main living room's upstairs, which I can't wait to show you.
I like that informality, though, that there isn't really kind of a dedicated front door. It takes away from that suburban idea that we have of homes, doesn't it?
It does. There's just a general lack of formality, which begins that journey through this house. And essentially, we set out to create a space that's quite serene to live in, casual, a place you can relax.
Behind the steep sloping forest and out front, the expansive ocean. In the middle, Ocean House has created a peaceful space of contemplation and relaxation. A beach retreat like no other.
So, Rob, this is absolutely stunning. We're another level up. Obviously, the view's gotten even better.
We went in search of land that could give us the view of the ocean and place us within a rainforest. We've discovered this land which was tiny in comparison to most of the blocks of land lawn and therefore affordable. So we bought the land and set out to build this house, and what we discovered was the reason it was so cheap was it was so complex and difficult to build on the land. Being a young, ambitious architect, nothing was an issue for me.
That's it.
Wow. I was older and wiser by the time I was done because it cost a fortune to build on this land. But what we attained was what we set out to achieve, and that was this amazing wilderness experience. We understand as architects that it is that connection with wilderness and nature that grounds us. The second thing we set out to achieve was a place of rest that was truly serene, and we really did achieve that. Ocean House really is a retreat.
Just even the colour palette and the materials that you've used here connect to all of that as well, which does give it that sense of retreat.
You're spot on, and that's where we took the colour from. It's the colour of the timber is the trunks of the trees.
Yeah.
You're one of the first to observe that.
Really?
Yeah, really.
It seems so obvious. As soon as I came up the driveway, it was, I felt like it was very sensitively placed right here in this spot amongst what is around it.
So that's why we chose grey render, whitewash timber, because they're the colours found in the trees. Colours of the earth. And I think that's one of the reasons it is so serene.
It is.
Because your eye just travels across the space from the forest behind, through the space and out to the ocean, kind of uninterrupted.
It really means that there is no definition of space. It does kind of flow from the inside to the outside.
It does.
Ocean House is sculptured from concrete, timber and glass. At one end, cylindrical and solid. At the other end, light and open. The two personalities of the house work together as one. The concrete section, which houses the bedrooms, shelters the house from the prevailing wind and storms and deadens the sounds. This contrasts with the very open living areas which connect the house to nature.
We believe that a house or residence is a sensory experience. It has a responsibility to enrich life's experiences. The bedrooms are cocooned.
Yeah, it is like a cocoon.
Yeah, with only glimpses of the water. And we also enjoy working with quite bold shapes and forms. So it's actually a circle, whereas this is a rectangle. Believe it or not, though, the idea for the circle was born out of the fires, because that's the most exposed fire front.
Right.
And so we chose to make that out of concrete to shield the rest of the house.
So, Rob, this is really gorgeous. It does feel like a cocoon, especially, I think, this element of this beautiful French linen really makes you feel enclosed and warm and cosy. And I'm dying to know what's hidden behind all of these curtains.
Well, all the clutter's behind the curtains.
Oh, really?
And the curtain's designed to reform the circle.
Yeah, right.
And it creates this deadness of sound. And so it's a bedroom.
Yes.
And acoustically, it's fantastic.
It is.
It's really quite a dense sound in here. It's very peaceful. And so this was designed to cocoon you from the heat of the summer. It's always really cool in here.
Yes.
And the cold of the winter, because the west coast of Victoria is a cold climate, actually. It's only warm for a few months. The rest of the time it's quite cool. And it's a place of refuge, the bedroom.
Yes.
In our minds, we thought, OK, why don't we do this, make it a completely different experience than the rest of the house, and a place that we kind of retreat to.
So, Rob, what else haven't I seen? This house is a bit of a mystery and it's sort of unravelling itself to me every room that we walk in. Have I missed anything?
You have. You've missed the rooftop terrace.
Really?
Yeah, and that's worth a look.
OK. Should we go and have a look at that?
Yes, let's do that.
Great.
We wanted to do something that would capture people's imagination, and when they saw the photograph of Ocean House, they thought, wow, what's that?
This home is such a beautiful example of Australian architecture, Rob. It connects to all of the things that we as Australians love, which is obviously the beach, the bush, and that's reflected in every choice that I see in this home in terms of the palette, the materials, the forms, the shapes, everything.
Thanks, Dee. You made me feel proud. We are proud of this house. It is a wonderful experience.
It is.
It's won significant awards around the world, and it's taken Australian design to the world, and we all share in that.
Well, thank you so much for showing me around. I have to say I've been fangirling a little bit the whole time because I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thanks, Dee.
And this is such a beautiful example. It's been such a pleasure for me to come here and have a look around. Thank you so much.
Welcome to beautiful Catherine Hill Bay on the coast of New South Wales, just near Lake Macquarie. You can possibly hear the waves rolling away. It's an amazing location. This is actually a brand new land release. The homes are only about 2 or 3 months old. There's obviously an overlay here that I can see a very big influence of a Hamptons coastal look, but the house that we're going to look at today is anything but. It's definitely coastal, but for me, very contemporary. I can't wait to have a look at this house. Tim, I'm so impressed with the streetscape. It looks beautiful on the outside and even more impressive up here.
The brief was a sort of a modern take on contemporary coastal, I suppose.
Outside, you've got this beautiful use of timber and the dark line of the windows, and there's some sort of horizontal light details. Inside, I can see you've sort of repeated this combination, but in different ways. Talk us through what you've done.
The main element on the outside is the vertical black butt timber cladding. And on the inside, we've got the V-board, which is sort of like a reflection of what's happening on the outside, but on the inside in a more a clean line painted V-board finish. We've also got the black butt timber floor, which is the same material as the outside, but in a different element of the house.
I can see that this is a brand new development just above Central Coast in Lake Macquarie area. We've got beautiful, outstanding views to the beach and the surrounding area. That view also opens up a lot of beating from Mother Nature with salt air, so the house has to be able to sort of deal with that as well.
That's right.
Huge amounts of glass. What have you got going on there?
Double glazed glass. It's just standard aluminium profiles with the double glazing, obviously for the basics and heat control.
The roof is an outstanding element of this home. You talked about the restrictions of the pitch, but you've also got like a massive span here without any rafters or any exposed beams underneath. How have you achieved?
Yeah, well, the product we used is Bondor, which is a sandwich foam system where it's great insulation, it's got a large span.
And that sandwich idea with other construction methods, particularly for the roof style, you do end up with almost a triple layered sandwich, if you like, on the outside. It becomes heavier, like a really fat rimmed hat.
That's right.
This is a really nice thin line.
Exactly. So the reason I like to use it, especially on my projects with a skillion roof, is I like to have a thin eave and fascia, and the Bondor, because it's just one system, it just cantilevers out and it gives you that nice thin edge profile.
The timber outside is the beautiful black butt vertical line, and you've continued that inside in through that central corridor that does separate wings in the house. That was a really conscious decision of the design.
The house has 2 wings, left and right, and it's basically separated by an internal stair with a glass roof. So I like to bring the external cladding into the house. So there's a little taste of the outside coming in.
Tim, it's not often that the front of the house is so amazing and it looks out to the beach, and yet the back of the house is equally as impressive. This is a beautiful space.
Yeah, it's a great space. We generally put this area here to protect from the southerly elements, basically.
Yeah, I can feel that it's still a nice fresh breeze here, but it's not as strong as coming from the shoreline. It's equally interesting on the back of the house, those beautiful planes and the play of the textures.
Yeah, so I've got the vertical timber cladding mixing with the skillion roofs with the thin edge from the Bondor material. The bits I like are the bits in between the main elements, like the open space between the stairs and the open spaces down here. It all sort of melds quite well.
I love the way that architects look at these empty spaces and the voids as really important breathing spaces between the architecture. Even looking from here, you can see it's very Hampton-esque. I think that the neighbours must be looking here with a bit of envy with this beautiful contemporary home. It's quite different, but the finishes allow it to sit really well within its space. I think it looks like it's sort of growing here with all these beautiful natural elements.
Yeah, that's right. Like, some of the most important spaces in a house are the spaces between the main architectural spaces, I suppose, and how they play the indoor and the outdoor spaces sort of combined.
palm trees, white sand and rolling waves. We could be anywhere around Australia, but we're actually here in Adelaide. Welcome to beautiful Brighton. And imagine having views like this every day. Well, the homeowners of the house we're about to look at don't have to imagine, because this is their views and that's their house right here. Let's go have a look. Matt, I've got to say, you and the team at Finesse Build are known for building fantastic homes, but the facade on this place just seems to suit its location perfectly. Tell us about this build.
Oh, absolutely. So we want to build modern homes. That's what we really like, and the clients these days, that's what they want. Something that's going to last, not be too modern that it dates. So, and we're on the beach, so we use some really robust materials.
Well, you have got a really nice mixture of materials on the outside. You've got that sort of quintessential contrast of the white and the dark in the window frames and all that metalwork, but the stone is a standout.
Yeah, the stone is beautiful, and it's only on the lower level. It beds the home in, gives it something strong to sit on.
I love that you've achieved in this house, Matt, is the continuity. Outside, you've got that nice contrast of the clean white walls and the dark eyeliner detail of the steel and the windows and that framing.
Yeah.
Inside, it's the same. You've got the white and the dark. And this time, instead of the stone being that beautiful warmth, you've got this timber flooring running right through the whole house. Looks like American oak.
Yes, it is. It is.
Sounds like American oak with your accent.
I do insist on this in every house.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It is American oak, and it is a beautiful light-coloured flooring, which is very popular these days, and it will look good forever.
Now, up those stairs, of course, you arrive at the entry foyer. It's in the middle of the house, and again, it's got great natural light. I think that's something that's quite outstanding here, the way it's connected with the back view. You've got great light at the back, but there's a nice light-filled space right in the centre of the home.
Yeah, that's right, and the block runs east-west, and so we have north to the side, so it's important to bring the light in, and the block is 10 metres wide, so it is quite challenging to use space in the house and have the windows and the light. So the foyer is on the side, which is important. A lot of these beachfront homes don't have an entry.
You're right.
They just enter through the sliding doors. So we created that beautiful foyer, which everything connects to, the elevator, the staircase, and there's windows front and back, and you get beautiful eastern morning light as well.
The lighting in here is important. You've got a great amount of natural light coming through on the sides, but of course lighting in here is important. And I noticed a little detail that's in this house that I have in my own, and I know these light switches. You've got the Clipsal system in here.
Yes, we do. We always use Clipsal. Their product's great, the service is supportive to us, makes our business easier using them.
So we've used Clipsal Iconic outlets throughout the house. Obviously very adaptable to Clipsal Wiser, but they're very robust, and you know, they suit a lot of families in different ages. Lots of great cover plates. They've got the USB outlets as well, which is great. So yeah, it just really ticks all the boxes, that series. We decided to go with Wiser on this one due to the cost-effective part of it all, and obviously the simplicity of the owner being able to change and do what they want on the app with regards to moments and scenes. So the client's able to set up schedules, scenes, moments via their app. Now that's a matter of setting up timers for lighting or setting up a party scene at night with different lights coming on different times, including their outdoor lighting. And it's quite easy to do from the app for the owner. So you can personalise bedrooms or rooms. So like the client's granddaughters in this particular house can have their own room named their name. So they would walk up to a Google Home and say, turn on Kate's bedroom. Which is pretty cool, so it's very adaptable in that scenario.
Now this is the master suite. It's a great sized room here, plenty of space.
Yeah.
A great sized walk-in robe as well, and there's more of that fitted storage that you've done, and then the ensuite. So a really full master suite. It's a great size, especially for this area of the house, because it does step in upstairs.
That's right. The upper level is narrower than the lower level, but we maximise the space pretty well in design, I think, and you flow through that wardrobe into that big ensuite.
It's outstanding. I love it. I want to go out and take a look at that amazing view. It's obviously the place to be, the place to start every day and end every day.
Hey, it's waiting for us. Let's go.
If clients are coming to you and they're wanting to sort of build their dream home, what should they do to be prepared before they come and have a chat with you? I mean, you build great houses, but what should the client be doing?
Oh, I love it when a client comes well-educated. I want them to do research, not just on my building, but everyone. So when they come to us, they're ready to collaborate, because that's what it's all about. True collaboration makes beautiful homes.
We head to Byron Bay to see an award-winning house so close to the beach you can hear the crashing waves. Byron was once a sleepy coastal town, but it's fast becoming known for its cutting-edge architecture, and the place we're about to see is no exception. I meet the builder and architect for a tour. The facade and entry make a strong first impression with some of my favourite materials: Core 10, raw blockwork, timber and concrete. Well, you've blown me away by the facade already.
We had a client that was very open to the use of whatever materials that we thought would look good.
And Core 10, of course, is like a living material. It goes up as a mild steel.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and it just continues to age and it goes through various different stages, whether it be a bright orange or the dark red that it is now.
And this concrete that you've used throughout, I love polished concrete. We've got it in our place. It's completely indestructible. What is that mix there?
That's the Lighthouse White from Wholesome. It ties in well with the colours that we've used outside as well, being the same stone in an exposed aggregate.
And of course, this house is an award winner, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, we won the $1.5 to $2 million category for the local Master Builders Awards last year.
Well, I'm getting little glimpses of upstairs. I'm getting pretty excited. It looks special up there.
Let's go.
Let's have a look. Well, I have never seen a ceiling as beautiful as this. I'm assuming it's referencing the waves in the ocean?
Yeah, referencing the waves in the ocean and softening up the space and an opportunity to obviously work with some timber.
Surely you don't put that on the plan when you hand it to a builder, because you would give that to a builder and they'd just say, no way.
No, it wasn't on the plan that was originally given to Adam. It came into the job on the way through, and then we had to work out how to build it.
And is this the first project you guys have worked together on?
No, we've been working together for, well, quite a number of years. Originally, John worked with my father, John.
Oh, so building's in the blood for you then?
Yeah. And fourth generation in the industry.
Fourth generation?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can tell looking around. I mean, even the simple details like this kitchen bench, you've got all the cabinetry is end matched. It's the attention to detail in this place is second to none, really.
And that's one of the reasons for us.
The ceiling is a knockout feature. Well, I'm really interested into how you actually physically built that. Like, is that a truss ceiling?
Well, there's trusses holding the structure itself, but in between, basically, we've just got ribs running the full length of the house to support the timber itself.
Obviously, that's the hardest thing as a builder. When nothing's square, you can't put your level up against it. You're sort of just going by feel.
Yeah, we actually used a CNC machine to cut all the ribs so that each one is exactly the same as the other.
Well, it's seriously the standout piece in this room, and I absolutely love it.
And interestingly, one other little detail, Adam and his father John, who's built some boats, suggested using a profile of timber that you would use for strip planking a boat. it's got convex and concave edges on it, and that's how the curve was achieved.
And did you use many commercial processes in building this build? Because it's all suspended slab and blockwork.
Yeah, that's right. The commercial industry is tending to find its way into the residential sector, even from the concrete up to the aluminium that's on the outside of the building. The door and window sections that we've used are all more of a commercial-based system, but we find that we're more and more often fitting them into the residential market.
One of the things I just noticed is that there's stairs going upstairs, so I'm assuming there's a rooftop on top of this.
There is indeed.
Well, this is quite the spot to be able to come up and have a beer at the end of the day.
Isn't it? It's fantastic.
I'm pretty impressed that you were able to squeeze this into this project, considering what we saw downstairs. You know, there wasn't much room to put anything on top of that.
The Byron planning regulations allow for roof decks, and the client was always fairly keen to have it. And it was another one of those things that we had to work with Adam to figure out, well, how do we actually build it?
So what's next for you guys? Have you got another project that you're working on together?
Yeah, we're doing a substantial renovation just in the hinterland outside Byron at the moment. And from our point of view with the client and the high level of architectural detailing and materials being used, Adam and his boys were absolutely the right fit for that project.
Well, after seeing the result downstairs, you couldn't go with anyone else, could you?
No.
Oh, well, thanks very much for showing me through.
Thanks, Michael.
Amazing job, and hopefully we can have a look through your next one.
Absolutely.